Ciao a tutti, everybody, and welcome to the World GT Championship on the iRacing eSports network. We are here at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, one of the best tracks in the world, frankly, and alongside myself, Andrew Woodhouse, Sam Fitzpatrick, with Sam Kumo on the cameras. And, well, Mr. Fitzpatrick, we're here again. Such a high-speed circuit, lots of slow chicanes and braking areas that favour overtaking, and it's going to be a fantastic night here in the World GTs.
Yeah, it really is. This place is the absolute temple of speed, of course, and it's a great test for these cars down these straights, and it's a proper unique challenge as well. Gotta be fantastic on the bricks. Pretty much all the corners here are very similar, but it is a great race circuit. There's lots of drafting expecting with such a competitive field. It's going to be tricky to pull away from anyone out there, so it should be good.
Yeah, drivers are going to have to keep the rear tyres in order as well. That's something to look out for today with the high track temperature you see on the screen. After 14 races of this World GT Championship, we are indeed halfway, and Mark Fletcher is the current points leader, 664 points. He's 37 points clear of George McClay, with Pete Harrod in third, Michael Abdoka fourth, and Lewis Bibby in fifth. That's the Pro category standings. In the Pro-Am category, Simon Underhill leads the way ahead of Mike Gray, and then Mike Horder, and then Matthew Bunn, and then Dan McCauley in fifth. And going down to the Am category, then Lars van Rijn is the new leader after last week's meeting. After 2 weeks ago, sorry, with Craig Jones in second, Carl Jacquelet third, Matt Draycott in fourth, and Parrett in fifth.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a very unpredictable season so far. And of course, last time out, Fletcher actually had a bit of a mare of a meeting. I think he retired from 2 out of 3 races. And so the order can change so easily. Josh Thompson as well having a very tricky season, despite probably showing himself to be the fastest driver, I would say, on balance. He's had so many retirees, the vast majority have not been his fault, and it's put him way down the order. So that championship can so easily change very quickly. And all these different circuits favour different cars as well. This should be a strong McLaren circuit, but I'm sure we're going to visit plenty of other circuits later on in the season, which will be very good for the BMWs, the Audis, and all the other GT3 cars.
Yeah, great lap there by Ben Palmer, who's gone to the top of the timing sheet. You can see that 147.9 dead, just a fraction ahead of Oscar Mangan. So 2 McLarens at the top then. In fact, a third one, Ross McFarlane, just got up into third place. Then the Ferrari of Nick Madsen, and then another McLaren of Andy Shields. So the first Mercedes is down in 6th, Nico Foggy. First Audi is Carl Moore in 8th place. And then going down to the... there is a Ford GT in the field, actually, with Dennis Melcher. And he's down at the moment in 33rd place. So the old girl out there again. Not doing such a bad job in the hands of Dennis Melcher. 2 seconds off though. I wonder if that is partly the age of the car coming into play. It is quite a heavy car, so we'll see.
Yeah, we're certainly going to give some supporting to anyone who's willing to run this car. Mats van Loosenhorst, who was a very competitive driver, is a very competitive driver in the Sim Racers World GT Championship, won 2 titles in absolute dominant fashion. I mean, barely lost a round out of those 24. I think he won 20 out of 24 rounds over the course of 2 seasons. Then switched to Ford, and he only won 1 out of the first 4 rounds, and then unfortunately has pulled out of that season. Of course, you can check that out on the eSports network on Wednesday evenings. So this Ford, it's definitely the slowest car, and credit to Dennis for trying it out. He drove brilliantly at Road America, actually. I think he got a couple of top 20s, which is a good effort for a Pro-Am driver in that machine.
Well, he has won in this car before, but it was right at the very start of this championship, maybe 2nd or 3rd season that he took a win in this car. So it is a challenge, that's for sure. We're also seeing Nick Madsen up there. Only a couple of Ferraris in the field, which is a bit of a shock. This championship used to have, I think 15 to 20 Ferrari drivers in it, and back in season 4, season 5. But obviously out of favour. It seems like a few people actually, Sam, have bailed out of the BMW for this very meeting.
Yeah, they are allowed to change cars when they want. However, I think you get a 200-point penalty or 150 point penalty, and yeah, might be wise to jump out of the BMW for this round where you really haven't seen too many of them. You could just see behind
You're
Chris
really
Jones.
gonna lose that many points. You wouldn't really lose that many points though that justifies taking a massive penalty. I mean, in my opinion, anyway. Unless, like you say, there are several tracks coming up later in the season that really will favour another car over, say, the BMW. But again, the
Well, next up
BMW's been
we've got.
strong. You count it out at your peril, I think.
Well, that's a good point in terms of the schedule because next up we've got Daytona. So
Oh,
that's another.
Audi, big
Oh,
crash,
wow.
and that was. I'm not sure who that was. Is it Pete Newman?
Pete Newman, yep.
Pete Newman then into the wall, and not the interruption to qualifying you would have wanted.
But yeah, Daytona coming up next as well, so that's going to be another very strong McLaren circuit. Then we've got Suzuka, Spa, Watkins Glen Classic Boot, and
Yeah.
Imola to
A lot of
round
power
out the
tracks
season.
there.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's been power circuits all the way through. I mean, we've already had Montreal, Bathurst, Silverstone, Road America last time out. So not too many kind of club circuits, mainly big, proper Grand Prix circuits that this season has tried to include. So hence the long straight. So do you feel a little bit bad for some of these? For some of these drivers, Matt Bunn, of course, series organizer, though he feels as though the BMW stole the car to go for us. We seeing a few drivers come back to the pits. I've got 3 minutes left, so they're only going to get one more
car in the gravel at the Rettifilio, and that's car 17, and that's Mike Horder. So that is the driver who's in 12th place in the overall standings, third in the Pro-Am category at the moment. Mike Horder, the Welshman, currently in 23rd place. So it's a bit lower than what he's been in the last few meetings, but you can see by the timing, Sam, that only 0.8 of a second between 7th place and 25th. So really is all to play for in these last few minutes of qualifying.
Yeah, probably the strangest thing is how far ahead the front runners are. There's quite a big gap between 1st and 7th, much more than we usually see. Perhaps those McLarens are so strong. You can see we've got, 6 McLarens in the top 10 and then none after that, rounding out the top 25. So maybe that McLaren has just got 0.3 of a second on everything else, hence why they've got a bit of an advantage. Of course,
it's tough because
so it does balance out.
It's tough as well, Sam, because people driving the McLarens are some of the best drivers in the series. So it's hard to tell whether it's just them or it is the car. Morgan Butler is in 33rd place. He's the only other McLaren actually out there. So don't know don't know if he's struggling or not. But I mean, I've driven the McLaren before in the past. It was the car we did the World Championship qualifying in, and it's a little temperamental, I find.
Yeah, we've found the fastest GT3 car is usually the most temperamental. I remember when the Audi was the fastest a couple of years ago. But so a lot of the pro teams would run it, but then actually in this league, for example, a lot of people wouldn't run it just because it was so tricky to keep control. And of course, anyone who saw Road America last time out, we saw loads of McLarens crashing at the Kink, which is such a demanding corner. Also at Watkins Glen as well in the Sim Race World GT Championship a little while ago on the first lap. We had pretty much half of the McLarens just losing it completely by themselves going up the hill. So it is really tricky. It's a give and take. If you've got that patience, then that can work. Let's see if Shield can improve on this time. Go to
Oscar Mangan's just gone fastest, Sam. Sorry.
Yeah.
Shield does improve to 5th to 148.3, but yeah, Oscar Mangan, new pole sitter. The Irishman in the 99 car.
Palmer's still got another lap here, 15 seconds to go, and Mangan's not going to appeal on this time with the pace that he is going. Palmer, I'm seeing, is off the circuit. That might just be on our system and not actually on the iRacing system. However, not looking to go for Ben Palmer. He needs to improve by a 10th to get pole. As McFarlane improves, but...
Oh no, there he is. He is indeed off. Is Palmer. He's going to bring it to a standstill. And his qualifying session will be over. And here's the championship leader, Sam. Mark Fletcher. Is he on a lap?
seems as though he is. Certainly would have crossed the line in time. Got no one in front of him. We haven't really talked too much about the slipstream game. That could potentially be why we got a bit of a gap. Maybe these top guys getting a good slipstream. But whenever we've broadcast the BSI MX-5, for example, or the ARL TC, if you can get a slipstream around this circuit, then that's going to be a few tenths of a second that you gain. And that can be the difference with about, what, 10, 15 places perhaps. But not too much of that, and certainly Fletcher not feeling the need for that on this last attempt.
No, and let's see how he attacks the Parabolica then. Just get on the power as early as possible. You can hear the tyres trying to come away from him under acceleration. Is he going for the line? He is. Shortest route. Let's see. Over the line, under the podium he goes. And that will be not an improvement. So 148.5. I tell you what, it was a consistent lap. It was nearly as good as his best, but 7/100ths of a second slower. Here comes Chaz Draycott, one of the CQR Pete Newman media machines. Let's see what he can do. Oh! Well, I don't know if that was if he tried to come into the pits there. Oh, no. Oh, well, either way, we digress. He's stuck in the fence.
Yeah. I mean, that is half the car gone straight through the wall. He's not towed back yet, but...
That's well and truly buried, is that? He's probably taking a picture of that for his various social medias.
Probably. I mean, if that's him exhibiting his driving, then he's setting himself quite a low standard. Come on, Chaz, you can drive better than that.
We saw Mark Fletcher try and take the shortest route to the line under the podium, and either he took that far too literally, did old Chaz, or yeah, he tried to come into the pits and made a mess of it. Who knows?
Doesn't look like Mike Horder's going to improve. Former ARL GT champion, of course. Won at Daytona, actually, so you'll have good fun memories of that when we go there next week. But yeah, just going back into the pits is the Welshman. Also, actually, Beard is still out on circuit, but I think we are about to advance to the gridding up. And of course, a rolling start as normal in this series. I think the last time we were here at Monza in this series, I think it was Ash Sutton who had a massive crash right after the green flag, made contact when in second place and spun off into the wall. So can be big problems on the start here, but hopefully none of that today.
Yeah, and you can see the pace car there on your screen, just under the bridge on the back straight, just past the Curva di Seraglio. And they've got a Scari and the back straight, and then Parabolica to negotiate before they come to the green. I'll take you through the grid then. Oscar Mangan is on pole with Ben Palmer alongside him on the front row. Ross McFarlane is in third for Texas Fitstyle Motorsport, ahead of Nick Madsen in fourth. Andy Shield is fifth with Nicole Foggy in sixth. Championship leader Mark Fletcher is on row 4 with Carl Moore, the highest of the AM drivers there. Pete Harrods in 9th with Adam Hedgecock 10th, the highest of the Pro-Am category. Michael F. Docker is in 11th with Mike Gray in 12th. And then 13th is Ash Beard with Billy Fletcher in 14th, Lewis Bibby 15th and 16th for George McClay. 17th place is Matt Bunn and Richard Warmingham is 18th. Simon Underhill and Ethan Bass are on row 10 with Pete Newman and Dan McCauley on row 11. Mike Horder, as we saw in qualifying, struggled a little bit with the Mercedes, 23rd. Lars van Rijn, current AM category championship leader, in 24th. Michael Blake's 25th. Mark Woodhouse is in 26th place with Craig Jones in 27th and John Aegis, the Maltese driver, in 28th. Tom Jacobs is 29th and Simon Field for Boosted in 30th. Steve Burke is 31st for Lizard, ahead of Dennis Melcher in the Ford GT. Morgan Butler is 33rd, ahead of the Scotsman Chris Coughlin. And Carl Hardy's in 35th place and Chaz Draycott in 36th. If he can extract the Audi out of the barrier, that is. Carl Jacquelette in 37th. Ben Gregory in 38th. Uncharacteristically low down for him, I think. Taylor Lane 39th. 40th, Kevin Bolland. Dean Timms 41st. 42nd for Harry Wills. Matt Draycott in 43rd. Nathan Dixon 44th. 45th is Josh Thompson. And then it's Chris Daines, John Roberts, Stephen McCaffrey, and then Niall Crowther and Ellis Stevens on the back.
Yes, good to see Kip out there in 50th place. Also, some fantastic OCD forming up of the grid with the Pro and then the Pro-Am.
I saw
about
that.
20th and 30th. I loved that. So keep that up, guys. If we could improve on that a bit all the way down the order.
Do you
for the race.
do you get very excited when it's one of those Noah's Ark grids in Formula One then?
Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. And I love it when drivers get consistent finishes. Like if you can get 3 consecutive thirds. I mean, that is just superb. So any of that will make us very happy. We'll make all this crowd very happy as well.
Yes, what's one of the, we don't see one of those things for a long time.
We haven't, no. But hopefully we've got a crowd on YouTube or on whatever social media you're following us on. So
yes,
hopefully you enjoy the show.
Welcome to everybody watching. And in a moment, the pace car is going to pull off to the side, and the second half of the season is going to get underway in the World GT Championship here on iRacing eSports Network, presented by Apex Racing TV. And Oscar Mangan, former Apex Racing UK driver, is going to bring us to the green. There we go, the flag drops. Green light is on, we're out of way here at Monza. It's a long run into the Rettifilio. There's some jockeying for position in there. Palmer trying to close off on McFarlane. The Ferrari of Madsen's taking the outside line. He wants third place away from the Scotsman. So Mangan leads, Palmer in second, Madsen's up into third, fourth is McFarlane, then it's Foggy and Andy Shield coming through, and I think it's just all bottlenecked a bit at the back. I don't think anybody's come to grief, but let's have a look maybe at the back of the field and see, but it's a great start by the Irishman.
Yeah, it really is. Half a second clear straight away. Ben Palm, not quite enough to break the draft, but that's still the start that he would have wanted. Great going from the drivers in the top 20. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Not too many incidents I'm seeing further down. There's maybe momentarily off the circuit. That might be a little bit of gravel being thrown up by him. He is a little bit further behind. No, you'd say he is battling with George McClay currently. That's for 13th place. His TechSense Pitstone Motorsport teammate, or Renville, whatever team they're running under.
Those two have been stuck together pretty much the last few meetings.
Absolutely. Yeah, pretty much for the entire season.
Anyway, you should know which team they're running for.
I should, all right.
Well, you can see on the track map there, on the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see that everybody pretty much has survived the first lap without incident. That's what we like to see. Well, the first 2 sectors anyway. Let's not hold our breath, Sam. But coming through the Variante Ascari for the first time and on the run towards the curve of the Parabolica, we see the battle between Andy Shield and Nicole Foggy, the Scotsman, trying to go around the outside then in Parabolica. Mark Fletcher, championship leader, just in behind them, and Pete Harrod in the second of the McLarens in this group.
Yeah, and actually it might be Fletcher who's got the best one if he's willing to make it 3 wide. It narrows quite a bit this circuit. He goes to the inside, pick or choose which line you want. Tries to go down the middle, but Mark is far too smart to risk a move like that. Looks like Shield's going to have the advantage. Fletcher trying to get a good cutback, but needs to be wary of the driver behind it. Pete Harrod, another driver who's going for the championship, of course. And Foggy and Shield are losing each other so much time at the moment. They're losing sight of the driver's ahead. Ross McFarlane now 2 seconds ahead, and Foggy does the wide thing, just ducks in behind. What can Fletcher do? No room on the inside, going to the outside, and Foggy might just get boxed in here. Fletcher going deep round the outside, but Foggy was very deep himself, and well, after all that, barely anything changes.
Very skilled stuff there in the Curva della Roggia between Foggy, Fletcher and Shield. Oh, and that's very close to contact there, and that's Michael Evdoka trying to get past JT Moore there. Carl JT Moore, privateer in the Audi. Doing well, highest of the AM category, Sam, so who knows if he'll stay in the AM category come the next week, who knows?
Yeah, I imagine he might be promoted to pro, so don't take too much notice of that ranking then. You can see the next amateur driver is Michael Blake down in 23rd position at the moment. The stewards do a superb job of assigning these rankings. A lot of experience with these drivers. They got a lot of data to look at, safe to say.
Oh, I think Carl Jacolet's crashed, it looks like, on the... Well, something's gone on. Oh, and there is a crash. And there's a Ferrari in there as well. Might be Dixon. I think it could have been Nathan Dixon actually in there. Oh, look at this. And that's Fletcher putting more pressure on Foggy then. Foggy needs to be careful he doesn't outbrake himself and run into the McLaren of Andy Shield. Car 007. Foggy's car nearly bonded with his then for a second, but managed to get it stopped in time.
Yeah, and Fletcher's still ever so close, but I think Fletcher will just try to stay behind. Here is Madsen under pressure then from McFarlane, or trying to get past McFarlane.
Yeah, that's good.
Madsen's having a terrific round.
Yeah,
you're right.
He got McFarlane at the start, didn't he? So that's just him trying to come back, is McFarlane. But yeah, great stuff by Madsen. Easily the best Ferrari so far out there. And like I say, I'm surprised, Sam. I don't know what you know a bit more about it than I do, but I remember the days in this championship, as I was saying in qualifying, there's maybe 20 Ferraris on the grid. Do we know why it's not a chosen car, really?
Well, to be fair, I think back in that season, I think that was maybe three seasons ago or something. I think that was when the Ferrari was brand new, and often iRacing to make the brand new cars a little bit too powerful in the past. And yeah, I think the Ferrari not quite as competitive as it used to be.
Well, it seemed. I remember that it was considered to be a disadvantage even then from some of the drivers. So I don't know. Has anything changed really with this? Or?
Oh, I'm not quite sure. I think well, a lot of like small changes to the BOP over the last couple of years would have changed it slightly. And yeah, maybe just fallen out of fashion slightly ago. Of course, the McLaren, barely anyone used that about 12 months ago, and now it's one of the most popular cars on the sim.
I was looking at the spotters guide actually for a few seasons ago, and I think there were about 2 McLarens in the whole field. So that's how that's changed. There's a car running wide in the Curva Grande. I think it's a lapped car. I think it's a Mercedes going slowly. Something's happened to Stephen Berg. What's happened to Stephen Berg? You can see him dropping well down the order.
I think he's all right. Is Berg? I'm not quite sure. Well, he's still in 30th place, so maybe dropped a couple of places.
He was in the top 20 though. I saw him coming down the order. Van Rijn as well has been in some strife, I think. The Pro-Am leader, the Am leader.
Yeah, of course, on the timing tower you can see occasionally little red flashes next to the drivers' names, and that is when they've gone off the circuit. Quite often, particularly around this circuit, if someone goes off the track, particularly at the second Lesmo, it doesn't really mean too much. That's possibly just their normal racing line. But keep an eye on that. If that's permanent red, then they are in a bit of trouble. A little bit of trouble behind for one of the Renvale cars, I believe. That may have been maybe Lewis Bibby just going off the circuit momentarily. He's down into 15th place now behind Ashley Beers. I think ran wide for a moment.
Ran wide at Ascari, yeah. Did Bibby. See Rich Warmingham in this group with Matt Bunn. A couple of BMWs battling away here. Let's see the straight line speed of the BMW is like then here. He's taking on Mike Horder. He's gone to the inside. Doesn't look to be suffering too much in a straight line. The BMW then. Oh, he just couldn't quite get it done, Sam. He just couldn't quite get clear of the Mercedes, but
well, he might be able to cover it off. It now does get fully ahead, ducking back into slipstream wall Horder, but Bibby can, Bunn can comfortably cover the inside line. Outside can work here, but you need a lot more momentum than that. Oh, it's like a traffic jam down at that chicane, and they all did very well not to make more contact with one another, really showing the experience. I mean, some of these guys have been around since the very beginning of this series. Bunn and Horder, Warmingham, Underhill, maybe even Bass a little bit newer, but Pete Newman as well.
Yeah, there's a few names that have been there since the start. Quite a lot of names that came in sort of second or third season as well, and still there. Oscar Mangan's lead. It's only 0.2 of a second. I think we need to go to the front and just check that out. Yeah, and there it is. Ben Palmer then is It's right with him, and well, he's showing the great race pace, Ben Palmer. And look at the slipstream he's got now.
Yeah, I wonder if he really wants to get past quite yet. He can take all the time he wants, Palmer. They are pulling away from the rest of the field, 0.2 of a second faster than Ross McFarlane. I wouldn't be surprised they can't just call a truce until 5 minutes to go and then properly battle it out, because there's no point in battling right now and risking Ross catching back up to them, although Palmer has an awful exit, cap up to 9/10.
Yeah, I wonder if he's even going to slow down penalty, you know. Did not get up to speed quickly. I wonder if that's why.
Well, he's now lost the draft, so this is going to be tough work now for Palmer to close that back in. Of course, a real-life driver.
Well, Dean Timms has had some issues, but I think he's been in the pits anyway. He's just trying to avoid traffic coming through. Stephen McCaffrey and Kevin Bolland having a good battle as well. They've exchanged places on this lap 2 or 3 times, in fact.
Josh Thompson, by the way, up into 26th place. He started down in... Oh, geez, what's 26 plus 19? That's 45, isn't it? Oh, C and A-level maths.
Quick maths there. But I didn't get that far. I didn't get to A-level maths, I'm afraid. So it's Foggy then coming through. And let's see what he can do with P6. Is he gaining? He is minutely on Andy Shield. Got a bit of damage on the front of the Mercedes there, Sam, it looks like. Just right in the middle, you see some big crumple.
Yeah, and that's going to cost you so much around a circuit like this. Must have just got it maybe on the first lap where you see so much kind of concertina, and actually he's losing time, isn't he, to the McLaren ahead, even though he's in the draft, which is painful when you're driving. You just think, how am I meant to get past this guy if I'm losing time to him in the slipstream? Instead, you got to get done in the corners, but there aren't a whole lot of them. Gains loads of time there, does Foggy. I mean, that's 1.5 tenths of a second, but then the McLaren starts pulling away in the first half of this straight. Foggy's best chance is probably just to stay behind, because I think if he did overtake, I think he'd be overtaken straight back at the next straight.
Josh Thompson's just appeared on our timing tower in 25th place. Man from the Isle of Man. As both drivers take a lot of curb in the Curva della Roggia that time, with Foggy in pursuit of Shield. And we're looking at Rich Warmingham then, who's in a big battle. This is still the Bun and Horder battle. And now Warmingham's been unsettled slightly, and here comes Simon Underhill then for Nomad Sim Racing in the Audi R8. He's trying to come through as well. This is a good battle, this, in the lower reaches of the top 25.
Yeah, this has been going on for a while, hasn't it? And Bun's starting to break away slightly. Not sure who was leading. I guess it was Horder who was leading this chain, wasn't it, before? And he's slowly dropping down. Richard Warmingham, an experienced driver in a multitude of cars, still drives the supercars as well, in the Euro V8 Supercar Series. Certainly has improved significantly over the last few seasons, but he cannot join it.
Oh, there's a crash. That's Underhill, yeah. Oh, look out, everybody. Just about gets away with it there. Needs to be careful how far he goes back, though, if he's going to bring that back on. Let's see, coming out of Ascari, does he hit the curb too hard? No, he doesn't. Oh, he gets a wheel on the gravel, Sam. That's what unsettles him.
Yeah, and that's the need time model as well, of course. So much the drivers behind.
Who was that? Who was that missed him in the Audi? The white Audi. Well, it was white on my screen. I feel like it might have been Josh Thompson, you know. I'd love to see an onboard shot of that from his perspective. We might have to see that later on. Mark Fletcher's crashed, apparently, it says on our screen, but I wonder if that was just... yeah, and he's dropped down behind Pete Harrod as Fletcher, so...
Yeah, that's big.
Those two just had an overtaking attempt.
A few points.
McClay, 14th.
Yeah, he's kind of been stuck there, hasn't he? He dropped up to 15th, I think, at one point as well. Back in 14th place now, but yeah, having a bit of an underwhelming round at the moment. Carl Moore as well, seemingly dropping back, struggling to back up his great qualifying pace. He's down into 12th with Ashley Beard. He slowly made his way up through the order. I think jumped a couple of places at the start, did Beard, but recovered since then.
One thing I've learned over the years with this championship and with the, I mean, I haven't driven in the World GT Championship, but driven in a fair few of these other leagues with similar drivers, and so it's all well and good going out and qualifying decently, but then you get into the race, and the race pace and the consistency of these boys and girls is just absolutely electric.
Yeah, it's that consistency, isn't it? Just banging in the lap times after one after the other, and particularly the race cup as well. I remember when I was driving in the ARLTC Championship last season around this circuit, and honestly, I mean, I think I had bad race cup, but everyone else just seemed to know where to position their car slightly better than I could, just because of that experience they'd had all season.
Oh my goodness! Look at the background.
Oh, that's 2 by 2 behind.
It is. I'm sorry to just cut off the end of your sentence there, but we were seeing them going right over to the white line on the right-hand side, and Bunn still stays ahead of Mike Horder, and then Lewis Bibby's behind him. Warmingham is in there. But I'll say something for George McClay though. He's got rid of this battle, hasn't he? And that's something one thing less to worry about. Sorry, I'll get my words out eventually. But into Curve de la Rosia, then Rich Warmingham pursuing Lewis Bibby. He's got 0.8 of a second behind him to Ethan Bass. And already, Sam, it's flown by. We've only just got over 4 minutes to go.
Yeah. And by the way, to the viewers, in case you didn't know, this is usually the Dole race. And yet we've still got all of this stuff going on. Basically, this battle that we've had for 15th place, that's going to be for the lead in races 2 and 3 most likely, and be probably even better as well. So look forward to that one. Should have about a 10-minute break. We'll spin the reverse grid wheel. It can be anything from about 14 up to 30, I believe, the reverse grid. So as long as you're within those places.
A couple of weeks ago, so I don't know if that's still.
Oh really? Okay.
Although that might have been another series, but we just get so many cars in this. Look at the front of that Mercedes of Bibby. That is bent and buckled. Still not stopping him in the pursuit of Warmingham, and we'll see the grunt of the Mercedes here most likely coming off of Parabolica and down the main straight.
Oh, but that drag is just affecting him too much. He's painfully slow as Bibby, and might even be worth looking back at Baths in a moment as well. He'll be catching up to these guys, but Bibby's losing time in the slipstream. Getting back ahead then of Bunn is Horder. So Bunn did close the gap slightly. Oh, and pushing too hard. Doesn't want to go through the signs. That's probably the wise thing to do, but that's going to be a hefty slowdown as well. And he's in danger of not being within the reverse grid later on. As slowing on the inside, it's actually Beard. He was driving really well, got himself up into the top 10, but he's back down into 13th now.
Yeah, he got up to 10th, I think, Ash Beard, and something's gone on for him. Not quite sure exactly what that was, but
could have been a slowdown, maybe.
Mike Gray was involved potentially in that.
Yeah, Gray's a little bit by himself now. In fact, actually, he's got Carl Moore as well, hasn't he? Just behind.
Look at this battle with Fletcher, Van Ryn, Field. It's down the order, but it is Billy Fletcher. Sorry, Sam. Just confused our cameraman there. Yeah, 27, 28, 29th. Looks very, very tasty indeed. And I'm sure we'll find out what happens to that one at the end.
Horder and Bunn making a break for it. Managed to drop the other guy slightly. Warmingham and Bass are up into 17th and 18th, so it's been a poor lap. Well, of course, we saw Bibby going off the circuit earlier on, and of course Thompson as well is catching up to these guys. Not quite sure if he'll catch up in time, because this is the penultimate lap then that these drivers will have. The Bunn is bump drafting Horder down these straights, and that's probably a very wise thing to do. They're now 2 seconds ahead of Bass and Warmingham, who are battling behind as well. They're side by side. That is Warmingham going defensive against Bass, and now here is Thompson. He has caught up to them.
Yeah, Josh Thompson is, well, he started in 45th place, inside the top 20. That will give him a chance of reverse grid pole as well. Very quick driver change car for this meeting, then from the BMW to the Audi. See, it doesn't look to be affecting him too badly. Change of car.
Yeah, and you cannot write him off the championship either. I mean, he's a guy who could go and go get, like, I don't know, 10 consecutive podiums in a multitude of rounds. He was that quick as Josh Thompson. So good with the reverse grids as well, just being super unlucky this season. Here he goes on Ethan Bass. Would he go for it into the Sky chicane? Yes, he does. Much more confident on the brakes. Not sure why he's so from the back, Thompson. Could have been a penalty from the previous round, or perhaps just felt as though it was the safest thing to do to avoid any first lap carnage. But he certainly recovered very well.
I think it might have been a penalty. Do you not get a penalty for taking the change of car?
Well, that's just a point penalty, and I think he took the change of car a couple of rounds ago. I think before the last round at Road America. So I doubt it was due to that.
Oscar Mangan has started his final lap. There's a battle for second going on between Palmer and McFarlane. There's just 2 tenths between them. And was Wilkett Gray trying to defend from Moore, but this is the battle, and they are nearly side by side into the Rozier. Then Palmer trying to hold off McFarlane. So after that slowdown penalty, Sam, when he dropped away from Oscar Mangan, he's now finding himself in the clutches of McFarlane.
And it's testament to Mangan's pace that whilst Palmer did get that slowdown, the gap was up to 1.5 seconds. Mangan has pulled that out to 4 seconds now. I mean, that is mighty. And remember, Mangan probably isn't even pushing out there. He can cruise around these last couple of laps. So he's one to watch out for later on, undoubtedly, is Mangan. And testament as well to McFarlane's pace as well to close in on Palmer.
Remember, though, he was a pro driver, Oscar Mangan. And that's where his pace comes from.
Oh, wide for Palmer. He's going to be a sitting duck, I think.
Yeah, I think so. We're going to see it into Parabolica at least, I think. For McFarlane, then goes to the outside. This is his final opportunity of the race. What can he do? Can he go around the outside? Who knows? But Oscar Mangan's coming across the line then. So these two are side by side. We'll see their finish in a second. But Oscar Mangan wins at Monza. And who's going to take second and third? I do not know. I think it was just Palmer by maybe a 100th of a second.
Yeah, 1/100th of a second, separating them. And a good defensive driving there by Palmer. Was never going to let McFarlane have the inside for the Parabolica. Also close between Horder and Bunn, but it seems like Horder is going to get 15th place ahead of Bunn. That was a mighty battle between those two. And Thompson did manage to get past Warmingham on the last lap, so Thompson up into 17th. Nice recovery from last, and he will almost certainly be starting high up on the grid for race 2.
Well, at the very least, he will be starting higher than he did before by quite some distance. So he's definitely not out of the running for the second race of the day. 2 more races to come on the iRacing eSports network, so don't go anywhere. But for now, we'll have the official results in a moment or two, and then we'll spin the reverse grid wheel and see who's going to go onto pole position. We can only do that once we've got the results in, and there's still a couple of drivers, I think, still out there on their final lap. I saw a few drivers coming out of the pits quite late on, Sam, just ahead of the pack, maybe 10 seconds ahead of the leaders. So
yeah, and of course
they've managed to save themselves.
You get a faster pair in this series, and as long as you complete, I think it's if you finish within 2 laps, then you get points, and that is going to be quite a few points between finishing, say, in 40th place and not finishing at all. So it's definitely worth just going back out on circuit, completing a few laps by yourself, and yeah, I hope to do a little better in race 2 and 3.
And here is the finishing order then. So Oscar Mangan takes this one. by 4 seconds ahead of Ben Palmer, who beats Ross McFarlane by just 7 thousandths. Nick Madsen in 4th and Nico Foggy 5th, with Pete Harris 6th, Andy Shields 7th, Mark Fletcher in 8th, Michael Evdoka in 9th, and Adam Hedgecock in 10th, winning the Pro-Am category. Mike Gray, then Ash Beard. Cal Moore won the Am category ahead of George McClay. Second in the championship at the moment is McClay. Mike Horder in 15th ahead of Matt Bunn. Then Josh Thompson, Rich Warmingham in 18th, 19th for Ethan Bass, and 20th for Pete Newman. Michael Blake was in 21st with Craig Jones just behind him. Lewis Bibby 23rd and Chris Daines, they made their way. Bibby made his way slightly backwards. Daines made his way forwards. Woodhouse in 25th and then Jacobs in 26th, with Billy Fletcher in 27th and Field in 28th. 29th was Dennis Melcher in the Ford, with Dan McCauley in 30th, Steve McCaffrey in 31st, Steve Burke in 32nd, Ben Gregory in 33rd, 34th, John Roberts, and then Charles Draycott in 35th, with Lars van Rijn in 36th, Kevin Bolland 37th, Harry Wills 38th, 39th place was Niall Crowther, Nathan Dixon 40th, Taylor Lane in 41st, 42nd for Carl Jacquelet, Dean Timms 43rd, Carl Hardy 44th, then Matt Draycott 45th, and Chris Coughlin was out, along with Simon Underhill, Morgan Butler, John Aegis, and Ellie Stevens. Right, so over to Sam Kumo to spin the reverse grid wheel, and we're going to find out who's going to be on pole position for round 2 of the evening.
Right, the wheel is on the screen right now, and let's just spin it. I think this is one of the tracks where I think this is not going to be a major issue for the leaders, because there's ample opportunities to make the passes. But it's not going to be too easy because it is 27.
So 27th place is going to be Billy Fletcher. So on to pole he goes in the Audi, with Tom Jacobs will be in 2nd, Mark Woodhouse 3rd, Chris Daines 4th, and Lewis Bibby in 5th. So really interesting top 5 there. And we'll see how they get on at the other side of the break. So don't go anywhere here on the iRacing eSports Network. We've got 2 more rounds of the World GT Championship, and they're coming back after the break. We'll see you soon. Welcome back, everyone, to Monza. This is the World GT Championship on the iRacing eSports Network, presented by Apex Racing TV. Andrew Woodhouse and Sam Fitzpatrick on the commentary, and Sam Kumo is doing the cameras. And, well, we saw a great race, Sam, in race 1. Very hard fought, battles all the way through the field, and I'm sure we're going to see the same again here with the reverse grid.
Yeah, hopefully we do. I think it's going to be even more of that. Will be great to see if the front runners can make their way through the order. Quite a large reverse grid, especially in comparison to the ones we saw at Road America 2 weeks ago. And so it won't be easy for them to make their way up. But I think the thing to watch out for, who can kind of form a coalition out there? Who can work together to move through the order? If you're busy battling for first and second on lap 2 of the race, chances are you're going to get caught because you're going to lose some time. But if we get a couple of drivers who are decently quick, working together out in the lead, then they've got a decent chance at hanging on as the front runners are losing time, making up some places further behind.
Yeah, and we've got some everyone in the World GT Championship is pretty quick, but we've got some quick drivers at the front of the field. And we're about to see what the grid is going to look like for this second race of the day. Then Billy Fletcher's going to be on pole for CQR Sim Sports ahead of Tom Jacobs for Texense Fitzstyle Motorsport. Mark Woodhouse for Team Mad is in third ahead of Chris Daines for Year 1 Racing Academy, who's in fourth. Lewis Bibby for Renvale Fitzstyle Motorsport is in fifth. Craig Jones for SEC Racing in sixth. Michael Blake for Team Mad in seventh. Pete Newman is in eighth for his own team as part of the CQR banner. Ethan Bass is in ninth, and Rich Warmingham for XVR is in 10th. The rest of the grid is going to run through on your screen now. And Sam, is there anyone out there that you're really anticipating having a good one here?
Well, I think Billy Fletcher was really impressive in the GTEs last season. Of course, this was the first season for a little while that we've been using the GT3s. Not quite sure if he's quite matched that competitiveness this season, but he's still up on pole position. I think he's got a very good chance at doing well. Tom Jacobs top of the amateur drivers as well. Bibby up there in 6th. Of course, Josh Thompson starting in 11th. You could argue that Thompson's perhaps the favourite for this race after his very impressive race 1. So there's a few kind of drivers mixed around, of course, in that area. And we also saw in race 1 the pace of Oscar Mangan. I mean, he looks absolutely superb in that race 1. I think a top 5 certainly on the cards for him in this race too.
One thing's for sure, you certainly can't count out any of the drivers who finished near the front in the previous race. So, you know, they're all going to be, everyone's got an even chance of getting up there. Yeah, Fletcher, we haven't seen him at the front for quite some time. Mark Fletcher is leading the way in the championship. But for Billy, like I say, coming back into the fold with the Audi this season, and with the backing of CQR, well, it can only mean good things for him. Let's see what he can do then, coming around the Parabolica. Tom Jacobs alongside. Any second now then, the second race of the day in the World GT Championship. It's going to be green, and there it goes. Decent jump by Fletcher, but he's going to be under pressure all the way down to the Rettifilio. Jacobs already under pressure from Chris Daines. Brilliant start by Daines. The Viking trying to maraud and make his way through into second place. Is he trying to do that then? Around the outside he goes. He's going to get the momentum out there, Daines. Side by side they go, going through Curva Grande just now, Sam.
Yeah, and Daines, I think, should have the upper hand. He's got the short to run down to the next corner, and he does get ahead. So nice job there from Daines. But Fletcher's already breaking the draft. He's 9/10 of a second ahead. Look at Mark Woodhouse as well. He's looking pretty strong. Maybe not making too much of an impression. Started in 5th place, but he hasn't done too much so far. Not too much on the rear end of those drivers. Josh Thompson as well, remaining in 11th. That's a big surprise. Well, I thought he'd make up a few places, saying that he has just got past Ethan Bass just now. He's up into the top 10.
I feel like there might be someone off at the Rogier. I don't know if I saw a car sideways. Maybe my eyes were deceiving me, but we'll concentrate on the battle at the front then. And that is, Well, it's the battle for third that we're seeing now. Woodhouse trying to come through on Jacobs. It's not had a great season, Woodhouse, 23rd in the championship. Oh, and he makes contact with Jacobs, but he gets off him quickly enough to mean that he doesn't spin around the Texense Pitstime Motorsport car, sorry.
Yeah, and Bibby will be kicking himself. He was too close to those drivers. It meant they had to get on the brakes midway through Ascari and really prevented him from having to go into this next corner as he goes for it, regardless, on Woodhouse, who left that inside line very open. That Chrome car just being overtaken. And now the Renvale car and the Texas car will go side by side, almost contact between the two of them. There's not a whole lot Woodhouse can do from that position. He's just getting boxed in. Will he go to the inside of the pair of them, or will he just try to follow through Lewis Bibby? I imagine. How deep on the brakes is the BMW? Looks as though he's going to have to stay behind, but they are so close to contact. We've seen that a few times today. Also, Warmium going wide in the background, and Craig Jones skipping the chicane, and that's going to be quite a big slowdown on this lap 2.
Oh yeah, you don't want to slow down lap 1 or lap 2. It is better than it used to be. That's going to hurt Craig Jones quite substantially then. One thing we're seeing from this meeting on this track at the moment is Sim Race has offered a choice of right or left. They say is the middle an option. We'll try it, but nobody's been successful just yet that we've seen. Josh Thompson, you mentioned him at the start, Sam. Started in 11th place. He's up to P7 already in the Audi then.
Yeah, it's a little bit under our nose. He's gained a few places and crucially keeping that car clean. It's a long queue of cars behind that. I mean, pretty much everyone from Ethan Bass has got a bit of a queue behind him. Everyone going back to probably about 27th place, all right behind him. Out in the lead. Oh, look at this from Danes. Great pace for Chris Danes. He had fallen a second behind, but just in over a lap, he's been able to get back close, but struggling with the rear end of that car. These tyres still warming up in the opening stages. Also, we'll just point out that it's a British 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So and 7 and 8 and 9 if you count Isle of Man. So very good job.
And 10, 11, 12, 13, and it's all of them.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's all of them, Sam, if you count them.
We don't need the Olympics. Screw the Olympics.
We don't need all these different flags as well. We could have just bothered with one.
Yeah.
That's a controversial comment if you've heard one. Now, Chris Danes, some of the drivers will probably want me lynched for that one, but I was going to say that Chris Danes getting over 20 places in race 1. So he's shown the pace needed. And the Mercedes now monstering the Audi.
Thompson's just got past Blake.
Yeah.
Mike Horder.
Oh, Mike Horder! What's happened there? There's a crash and it involves Mark Fletcher.
And Shield, is that? Yeah, I think so. 007.
And Pete Harrods had to take to the bollards on the inside, so...
That's a few championship contenders, isn't it? Fletcher and Shield, I think, might be in there, and certainly Harrod is.
We're looking at George McClay then. P2 in the championship. McClay's under a real assault from Ethan Bass and Ash Beard. But McClay's just plugging away this time. Sam, this race meeting looks like he's just looking for a bit of consistency, trying to get the points in. He's gone a bit, and Ethan Bass going to get a bit squirrely there through Lesmo, and he had to correct it.
Yeah, too much curb. Yeah, McClay recently getting past Bass. I know maybe Bass will enjoy this, but he's got so many quick drivers behind him. It's going to be a long race for him just to see how many cars he can keep behind him to the end. There's Michael Abdoka as well, closing in behind. But this could be a decent day for McClay with Shield and Fletcher struggling in this race too. If they finish outside the top 30, this could be cash in for McClay later on. There goes Bass then. Unfortunately, there goes Gray on Bass, and Abdoka might profit from this as well.
Oh! Yeah, Abdoka, big slipstream on the inside. Let's see what he can do to try and dispose of Mike Gray. Can he get past Bass though? Nicely done. Did well to get it stopped there. For the Rectifilio, and it looks like he's through.
Oh, dipped a wheel onto the gravel though. He lost him time on the exit, and here comes Adam Hedgecock catching up to them, one of our colleagues. And Docker cannot get clear, so this is just losing him time. You feel like he's going to get past Bass eventually, but Bass may as well try to battle with him at the moment, although he's going to back off now. Adam Hedgecock has to stand onto the brakes behind. There goes Bibby. He's caught up to Thompson, I believe.
Somebody's got to slow down.
Maybe it was Bibby.
No. Bibby, okay. John Roberts has had a problem. I think Matt Draycott's had a problem as well. That's further down the order. It's about 40th place now. But Billy Fletcher continues to keep second place then. Not sure there's a great deal he can do about Chris Daines. Daines is away, look at that. Just a couple of laps. Great stuff by Daines. And Thompson now on the prowl, trying to get past Jacobs and receive, of course, a little bit of the bubbly. We'll see if he can get that. Oh, he's been hit! There's a contact there.
That was Jacobs, I think.
Oh, yeah, I'm not sure.
I'll say no, it was Bibby.
Not like Bibby to me. Now the Team Mad cars are getting involved with the bump draft, Sam, it looks like.
Yeah, they can work together.
This is what you mentioned. You mentioned an alliance, a coalition of sorts. Let's see what the Team Mad boys can do. CQR car and Matt Bunn's in there as well. He's an admin on this, no wonder he's doing so well.
And we were talking about the BMWs not being very strong. Well, there's 3 of them at the moment up into the top 7, so can't be that bad.
I told you though, it's a good race car. It is a good race car. And it doesn't look like it's losing out too much on the straights. Matt Bunn trying to work his way past Michael Blake. Let's see if he can do it on the exit of the Curva della Rosia. Not quite this time, doesn't have quite the momentum needed. Through Lesmo 1, a little bit wide, missed the apex slightly. Can he get a good run through Lesmo 2? That looked pretty perfect to me. It's also a great run for Michael Blake, Sam, and that means that Bunn's actually no closer.
Yeah, and Blake has the... But does he have the slipstream on Bibby? Maybe he's a little bit too far behind. 1 second back from his rival. I don't think that's going to happen. Bibby trying to get past Woodhouse now for P4. Bibby started in 5th, but I think got past Woodhouse pretty early on, but then yeah, had that slowdown as we saw, I believe, at the first chicane, or maybe the second chicane, a couple of laps ago. Still the race leaders. Oh, well, I say that, they're 7 seconds up the road. They are in sight, but there's some very long straights down this way, so that isn't quite necessarily reflective of what the proper gap is. By the way, Chris Daines with a 4-second lead. Incredible.
Yeah, brilliant pace by him. 1.6 seconds quicker the previous time round, and then this time another 4/10 gained on Billy Fletcher. So you can see the lap times on your screen there as they come across, and you can see the gap to the leader. And yeah, the timing tower on my screen is all sorts of various different colours, as it indicates the battles are very close. But look at that, only 15 seconds, only 10 seconds between 3rd and 20th, even after 10 minutes of racing.
So Bibby did get back past Woodhouse, so at the same place where he lost that place on the last lap, and also George McClay getting past Matt Bunn. So we were saying earlier on, Al McClay's having a much better round than many of his championship rivals, and it looks like the same is going to happen here. So could gain some good points. Any other kind of top guy? I guess Ben Palmer's got up to 16th place. Nico Foggy's up in 15th, but not great progress, and I don't see...
Mark Fletcher's
Oscar
out.
Mang.
Mark Fletcher is out. Oscar Mangan's in 30th.
Yeah, down a few places.
Yeah. So something's gone on there. We didn't quite see on the camera. Oh, look at this. That's the Mercedes, the year 1 Mercedes of Ash Beard. He's trying to get through on Pete Newman. See then, he's got a big slipstream down the back straight. Is he going to try and set him up into the Parabolica? Can he do it? How late on the brakes does he want to be? The answer is very, and it's also very, very good from Ash Beard. Clean as a whistle, it looks like, but Newman's fighting back. Sammy's on the outside, and he's got a great run out of the corner.
Yeah, got a slide on, unfortunately, did Beard. It was almost a perfect move, but didn't quite happen for him. Raced around this circuit actually in the Sim Racers World GT Championship just 6 or 5 days ago for that matter. So has plenty of experience around this track along with the other Year 1 drivers. It's a lot of curve on the inside, gotta be careful you don't pick up a slowdown there.
You can also see
behind these guys after getting punted off, of course, at the parabolic a few laps ago. He's got nowhere to go. This is a old school circuit made over 100 years ago. Admittedly, this part of the track was made a little bit more recently, but still a long time ago. So it's not really wide enough for the 3 cars, hence why Thompson is staying behind. But now goes down the inside, and that's going to be a slowdown as well. I'm almost certain for Pete Newman as well, because he seems to take a lot of curve going into the second chicane.
Yeah, good recovery from Thompson. He's just got his head down again and just trying to make his way towards the front. Not his fault at all, it didn't seem anyway, the accident which took him out of the top 5. Foggy is in the midst of some action, and he's a former World GT champion, is Nico Foggy. I mean, he is tremendous, but this season's just been tremendously bad for him. 32nd in the championship, Sam, and that is not what we expect from him.
Yeah, I think he was the points highest scorer at Road America as well. I think he got like a third, and a fourth. It was like really good. I was very excited that he was going to get 3 consecutive thirds, which, as we explained earlier, makes me very happy. But just missed out on that one, unfortunately. In race 3, got a 4th place. So he's certainly still quick, and of course is fighting for the UV8 Supercar Series Championship as well. A championship that won in the past. He's having a decent day today as well, up into 12th place now in this race, although Pete Newman might try to come back at him. There's Ben Palmer as well. Foggy can. You'd quite like Palmer not to get past right now. Unfortunately, he's not really got much of an impact on that.
Oh, there's some fair crashing going on in the lower reaches of the field, which we can't quite bring you at the moment, but we can bring you a brilliant battle for P6, and that's Matt Bunn getting past Michael Blake.
Yeah, 6 places is Bunn. That's taken him a while to get that move fixed.
You can see Thompson having a look in the background on Ash Beard, but Beard's making a bit of a charge through the field as well. He's getting 6th position, so it's not going to be easy meet for Josh Thompson. You can see as he comes out of Lesmo 2, he's going slightly wide, didn't get the best momentum ever in the world, and we'll see if he can make a move on Beard going into Ascari. Doesn't look like it. The Team Mad Cars had a little look out there. That was Michael Blake having a think about it, but didn't quite do it. Great run from Beard. Sam is going to set up Woodhouse nicely, I think, here.
Yeah, he should have that little bit of extra speed as well down this straight, being in that Mercedes. This is a tough time for Thompson because he's not getting any slipstream benefit because they've all got the slipstream. There goes Foggy as well, trying to get past Thompson. Those two have, of course, fought for the championship in the past. I think it's season 3. I think Foggy edged out Thompson in this World GT Championship, along with plenty of other battles, I'm sure, another series as well. Here comes Foggy then to the outside. He's going to pick up the slipstream. Thompson without the slipstream. I'm surprised that Thompson prioritised the inside line because there goes Foggy. Thompson will go back down the inside. He's very strong on the bricks, just gets it stopped. So nearly into the back of the Year 1 car. And now Thompson should have the shorts run. And now look at Ben Palmer as well, another top driver. This is remarkable that they're all fighting just over 11th to 13th places. This could easily be for the lead.
Don't know how they didn't take each other out then, Foggy and Palmer, but Thompson having a look again into the Rozier, but Foggy's picked his... Oh, Foggy spins!
Oh, I think that was netcode.
There may have been some contact there, but it's going to be tough for Nico Foggy to get it out of there without any disruption. He needs to find a 3 or 4 second, maybe more, gap where he can just reverse across the track. Very tough to do. I mean, how unlucky is he ending up perfectly in that little service road there?
Yep, and a little bit of a curse for me as well, saying that he was having a good meeting. It could have certainly been in the top 3 highest scorers today. There goes Evdoka. That's not going to work. Oh, they're still service, so you don't usually see service like that. And that is why Newman is wide. unfortunately for him, he's slightly off the circuit and does a good job at reversing straight away.
Well, he crashed there in qualifying, didn't he? But this time he was put there. I don't know whether, again, he won't probably like that, but looked like a bit of a 50-50 one to me. I'll have to maybe see it again later on. But this is Mike Gray battling with Michael Evdoka. And then you've got the Ferrari of Nick Madsen, you've got the McLaren of Adam Hedgecock, and you've got Carl Moore in the other Audi at the very back of the group there. You can see him trying to move over to the right-hand side, but is Gray going to hold off Evdoka here? Sam, it doesn't look like it. And through goes Evdoka, so good work by him.
Yeah, Gray might have a decent chance going through Curva Grande. They cap down to 0.2 of a second. Certainly Evdoka's going to have to defend. Just behind them is Madsen and Hedgecock.
Well, here comes Gray again. He's not giving up on this one. Almost gets an overlap, thinks about the move in the Rosia, but not quite this time.
Madsen, remember, finishing in third place, or fourth place, apologies, in race 1, I believe. Made up a few places as Madsen, and yeah, if you can just get these top 15 places, then it really does accumulate the points well. And of course, the further down you finish, it gets the higher up you start in race day. But I'm sure that's not what these drivers are thinking about right now. Gray losing the slipstream to Evdoka, and he's going to be very precarious against Madsen. These guys have got 2 more laps to go. Madsen goes for a half-hearted move, and that's just going to lose you guys a lot of time, and well, it just invites a few other drivers to the battle. It's a little bit of an unnecessary attempt there, although the drivers behind Gang have to stamp on the brakes just to avoid those two because they're going so slowly. It prevented them having a good run into the parabolic.
Madsen certainly going quickly today. Great qualifying inside the top 5, and then a really good race. Race 1, like you say, 4th place, and then really nice drive through the field from 24th. And we've just seen as well Matt Bunn get ahead of Tom Jacobs, and they're 3 wide now going into the Rettifilio. Bunn gives him space, quite gentlemanly, gets a bit of a nudge from George McClay. And actually that nudge, Sam, looks like it's almost propelled him towards the Mercedes.
Yeah, I think it's just Bunn. Also, no, McClay recently getting past. Also, yeah, Bunn and Jacobs a little bit further behind. Here comes Bunn just losing out there to Jacobs. Back up into 4th position. Then the drive side on the front row. Really good drive from Tom Jacobs in this one. Top of the amateur drives, by the way, for anyone who's new to the series. The timing towel, those colours. Green is pro. Oh no, he's off. It's Bunn. He was having a great run. That was a strange mistake from him as well. It seems to not dip a wheel onto the grass necessarily, but that's a 10 places source for him. The green means the pro, as you can see on the top of the screen. Yellow pro am, and orange the amateur. Hence all the fancy and very colourful overlay we've got today.
Ooh, oh, Thompson shoving Beard out there. Well, that was a close shave with Beard.
Oh no, and they're both
a crash.
And that could be trouble for the drivers behind as well. Somehow,
it is trouble. Somebody's still planted their foot. Everyone's planting their foot regardless of it. And it's still, there's still danger, Sam. I think it's just about resolving itself now into Parabolica. Barely. Oh, another contact. That's Gray. Gray going off, and that was the Texas Fitztime car that hit him. I'm not sure who it was.
Yeah, Evdoka, who I don't think has lost out necessarily right there, but I think it may have been Gray who was flat out through that instant anyway, and looked as though he was going to gain from it, but lost that in the end. Evdoka flashing his lights. Not quite sure why that is, but that was so avoidable as well. I could see that happening coming out of a Sky, and it seemed like 2 of the drivers just merged together. I think Warmingham was one of them, and another driver as well, and they went into one another, which is annoying to see because you fight so hard and then you have an instant like that further up.
Oh!
Take time to defend.
He outbraked himself there, I think, did Tom Jacobs, but just about gets ahead of, stays ahead of Michael Blake. But yeah, Sam, that could have been really, really bad, and I think everybody did about as well as they could to mean that only a couple of cars came to grief there as we're on the final lap.
Yeah, another quick one this. McClay pulling away then. Apology, that is McClay pulling away. Jacobs and Blake left to fight for the final top 5 position. And
Chris Danes
around the outside. This one could be a very nice move, but I swear we never see alongside through the Sky chicane, and yet we're seeing it about 3 times in 3 laps.
Chris Danes is coming to the line, so what a dominant performance by the year 1 driver. He took the lead after just a lap or 2, and Chris Danes wins race 2 here at Monza. Brilliant stuff by him. Done a great job there, Chris Danes.
Oh, Blake off right at the end. Looks as though he could get 5th, and he's won again.
He's in the middle of the track. Oh, he does well to get that off the racing surface. He's got broken suspension. Needs to try to make it to the end at least. See if he can get that reverse grid. He's down to 24th, 25th. And there's more cars coming, and the suspension is knackered. Oh, look, there's nothing he can do. He's just trying his hardest to get it across the line. Oh, he's just about done it. Well done. Well done to Michael Blake. I would park that one up, son. I would get that one. My old team principal there, Michael Blake. I would get that parked up, mate. It's not worth it.
Looked as though he could get 5th place, I think. He was battling with... Well, you know what? Palmer got 5th in the end. So I think he collided with Jacobs. That's at the end, did Blake. And Palmer managed to get the pair up there. Finished 5th place, did Palmer, from 26th on the grid. I said Mangan might get a top 5, but in the end it was 2nd place man from Race 1 Palmer. He managed to seal it. So he's certainly the points highest scorer so far to date.
Mangan got
number 2.
Mangan got 15th in the end.
That was pretty good.
Still a good drive.
Yeah.
Josh Thompson got back up to 8th. Wonder if we could have a quick look maybe at that last corner crash if we've got it. I don't know if we do have it or not, but would be interesting to see what happened as the donuts coming in. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, Chris Danes flashing the lights. Bit of a contact there, but yeah, Danes very, very happy with his victory, and the results are on the screen right now. 4.2 seconds was his advantage over Billy Fletcher. And then Lewis Bibby completes the podium. Little bit of the Bibby in 3rd. George McClay in 4th. Ben Palmer 5th. 6th for Tom Jacobs. 7th Mark Woodhouse. 8th Josh Thompson. 9th Nick Madsen and Matt Bunn in 10th, despite going off into the gravel at the end. That's a good recovery in the end from Bunn. Michael Evdoka 11th. Adam Hedgecock 12th. Andy Shield in 13th. 14th was Carl Moore. 3 privateers in a row. Oscar Mangan and Ethan Bass 15th and 16th. Pete Harrod 17th. Stephen Burke in 18th place. 19th goes to Ben Gregory with Simon Field in 20th. Mike Horder in 21st. Craig Jones 22nd. Stephen McCaffrey in 23rd. Mike Gray 24th, and 25th was Dennis Melcher. John Roberts in 26th, Kevin Bolland 27th, and Nicole Foggy in 28th. 29th, Dan McCauley, Pete Newman in 30th, Michael Blake 31st, 32nd Nathan Dixon, Carl Jacquelet in 33rd, Wilson McFarlane 34th, 35th for Matt Draycott, 36th for Chris Coughlin, 37th for Niall Crowther, Ashley Beard in 38th, and then 39th was Lars Van Rijn, Rich Warmingham in 40th, 41st for Chaz Draycott, 42nd Taylor Lane, 43rd Morgan Butler, 44th was Simon Underhill, and Harry Wills in 45th, 46th for Dean Timms, and Mark Fletcher was the first man out. So if we have a full reverse grid, it will be Rich Warmingham in 40th, but yeah, we'll see what happens as we can spin the wheel, and Sam Kumar will bring us that result of that spin in a moment.
The wheel is on the screen last time for tonight, and let's just spin it. I think the 27th was close to the biggest that we can have. We do have 30 here, but I don't think we are gonna make it this time around. It is 17.
So 17 is going to mean that Pete Harrod's going to be very, very happy, Sam, because he's gone into first place. Ethan Bass is going to be starting on the front row with him. Oscar Mangan's going to be third. So look out for him. The very fast AM driver, Carl Moore, is going to be in fourth. So when we come back on Apex Racing TV and the iRacing eSports Network after the break, we're going to see race 3 of the day from Monza. So we'll see you at the other side. Welcome back for the last time tonight in the World GT Championship on the iRacing eSports Network. Andrew Woodhouse and Sam Fitzpatrick for you for Apex Racing TV and bringing you all the action from Season 7. And the second half of the season started today. And Sam, well, we've had 2 great races so far. Pretty clean, to be honest, as well. Don't know whether to be pleased or disappointed about that, but regardless, it's been entertaining.
Yeah, nervous, suspicious are the emotions you associate it that with. Maybe this race 3 will all turn into anarchy. Hopefully we don't see that. A couple of really clean starts so far in today's race, and it's always tricky to start in a race like this, and yet everyone's kept it very clean. A few different pace of drivers as well up at the front. It be another good race 3.
I think so, and Pete Harrod will be hoping that race 3 belongs to him. Sim Sports Racing USA driver starts on pole position ahead of Ethan Bass, with Oscar Mangan, race 1 winner, in 3rd, and Carl Moore in 4th, Andy Shield in 5th, Adam Hedgecock 6th, Michael Evdoka 7th, Matt Bunn in 8th, Nick Madsen in 9th, and Josh Thompson rounds out the top 10. Mark Woodhouse and Tom Jacobs are then on row 6, Ben Palmer and George McClay on row 7, Bibby and Billy Fletcher on row 8, Chris Daines and Stephen Burke. So the race 2 winner, Chris Daines, starting 17th, with Burke behind him, and then Ben Gregory and Simon Field round out the top 20. The rest of the grid will be going through on your screen just now. But Sam, as the pace car gets ready to come in, Oscar Mangan versus Pete Harrod, you would imagine, with no disrespect to everyone else, will most likely be what we get here.
Yes, most likely. I mean, Andy Shield as well is decently quick, but if those two can get to the front quick, then they're going to be in a very good position. Howard, of course, having a terrific season. No disrespect to Pete, of course, he's been around for a while now on iRacing, but he's having a really terrific season, and whenever I've seen, he's not necessarily ever been that close to the pointy end, but he always seems to get top 20 finishes, which is what this championship and what so many of the championships we broadcast on Apex Racing TV are about, and he seems to be absolutely superb at that. Howard might
He's
be
very quick in the touring car.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry,
it's the same format.
Yeah.
That's the touring car. So no, he's got a great chance. Yeah, Mangan is going to be after his race 1 pace and his race 2 pace after a tricky start. But let's see if Shield can get up with those guys straight off the bat, I can see him staying close as well.
Oh yeah, me too. Very, very accomplished driver is Andy Shield. I suppose, yeah, he's only 1 row behind Mangan. So we'll see what happens here then. And 20 minutes for race 3 of the day. We'll begin any second now. It's Harrod backing the field up. He's going to hit it at any moment. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. We're racing here at Monza. Terrific start by Harrod. Got 4 tenths clear already. Mangan and Bass side by side. Mangan trying to use the power of the McLaren to drag deep into turn 1. Hard on the brakes for all involved then. Oh, it's getting a bit punchy in the centre. Off goes Bunn, and that's Moore into the gravel with him.
Yeah, a little bit of contact they made with Evdoka, and just shuffled them around slightly. Contact between the two, and that's a fantastic shame straight away. Good stuff for Thompson. He's up into 7th place, and he can get past Evdoka.
Oh, he's trying. Oh,
having to go to the outside. They got Shield, I believe, just in front of them, going defensive there. Can Evdoka hang on against Thompson? No, he cannot. And Thompson up into 6th position then. Yeah, great start for Thompson. Not a great start for Shield. I thought he was actually going to do pretty well from 5th place, but failed to get past Hedgecock, and already the top 3 pulling a long way away.
Kept it clean at least though, Andy Shield. He may be thinking though, Sam, and you know, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. He might be there as a bit of a stopper. He knows that Pete Harrod's quick. He may not want Josh Thompson getting up there and involved in the top battle, but we'll see.
Yeah, could be a strategy deployed by them. Here is Mangan. Is he going to go for the lead straight away, or is he going to be happy to stay behind? That's a little bit of a lift, and another lift as well. So maybe just wanting to get Harrod on side. What great, as I said at the start of race 2, you need to work together around this circuit to get the best result. There's no point in fighting right now. Although, if Harrod is too slow, Mangan might feel as though he's holding him up, so he might want to get past as Tom Jacobs is falling down the order after a fantastic race 2. Here comes Mang, and he is going to go for it this time. I doubt Howard will put much of a fight up.
I think he knows there's no point really having to go into Parabolica because you're just going to be vulnerable all the way down the pitch straight. And Mangan decides to choose his move wisely as Thompson sends it on Adam Hedgecock then. He gets up into 5th place. It's Josh Thompson moving well. I wonder if Mangan also had in the back of his mind, or has in the back of his mind still, that he couldn't pull away from Ben Palmer in race 1, could he? So I wonder if, at least not until Palmer had his issues, so I wonder if he's just thinking, well, there's not a lot of point in trying to necessarily break away from Harrod. Maybe just exchanging positions might be the way to go as Palmer nearly comes to blows with Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson was completely outbreak himself and was very lucky not to lose a position there. There is Evdoka trying to get past Hedgecock. Evdoka's had a little bit of a tricky race so far. We know how quick he is, a championship contender, of course. But just getting it held up a little bit behind Hedgecock and just cannot get past that McLaren at the moment. They've also got Madsen, who's been terrific so far today. So many top drivers already up the front as Evdoka goes for this one, staying alongside his Hedgecock at the moment. And oh, well, this can get very nervy as we saw in race 2. They're going to be very far out that corner as well. Here comes Madsen. He might be able to dispatch the pair of them.
I'm a little bit surprised that Hedgecock's dropping back like this at the start, but can so often happen at a track like Monza. He was top 10 in qualifying. Madsen going around the outside of Evdoka then. See if he can make it past the Mercedes, McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari, BMW all in this group, and then Audi in front.
And Hedgecock might have a decent chance. He's chancing, I think, Evdoka, and they're both pulling clear of Madsen. However, Madsen has got a clear track in front of him, and there goes Bibby as well. He's going to make it 3 wide. That is very ambitious. Is there going to be contact? Great driving from the 3 of them. I think that had to be a very generous from Hedgecock. Had to back out of that one.
Adam Hedgecock could have made that very, very difficult for those two, but he decided to live to fight another day, which makes sense. Madsen thinking of, Hedgecock's been hit.
That was Woodhouse, I think.
Yeah. Woodhouse getting into the back of him. Mangan versus Harrod. Mangan's got a gap of a second though, so he is going to try and gap Pete Harrod. Ethan Bass under pressure from Andy Shield. Does Andy Shield have the pace to get to the front of this pack, front of this race?
He seems to have got past now, but he's got 3 seconds to catch up to Mangan and Harrod then. Harrod just, well, I'm not sure if he is within the slipstream anymore. He's not gaining any time down the straight, so I think Mangan may have broken that slipstream. It's very good for the race leader. There they are. You need to be within about 7/10 for the slipstream to properly make a difference. It's 8.5 tenths at the moment, so painful for Harrod. He will just be praying that Mangan makes a small mistake, loses a couple of tenths, but that doesn't seem to be happening. And anyways, watching the live timing, which you can find in the link below provided by SDK Gaming. Anyone who's watching that will know that that gap is maintaining down the straight. He's not gaining. It's the second place man. Here comes Bass again. He's been really fighting it with these pro drivers all day long. A couple of good qualifying, or a couple of good starting places in race 2 and 3. He does have to back off against Shield now, and he's got Palmer, Thompson, Evdoka, Bibby, Madsen, and Hedgecock and McClay all behind him. That is not the guys you want to see in your mirrors. Yeah,
still very close in the lower half of the top 20 as well. Woodhouse, Fletcher, Gregory, Horder, Berg, Danes, they're all within a gnat's whisker of each other, really. And you can see here just what we were talking about. This big train, which actually goes down to about 23rd place. Starts in 11th with Josh McClay, Sam. It's crazy. As I see some smoke at the Rogia, I don't know quite what that was, but I think everybody pretty much got away with it.
McClay leading this chain of cars then. Looks like McClay might get 3 top 15s. I mean, he could be the championship leader. I don't really want to do the maths. I doubt it's going to be Fletcher. Fletcher is up into, and I mean Mark Fletcher, not Billy Fletcher.
Well,
Billy Fletcher in 13th. Mark Fletcher up into, geez, where is he? Still quite far down, I think. 41st. Oh wow,
35th.
okay. Long way down.
35th, Sam, I think.
Aha, okay.
At the moment, it's Mark Fletcher. He started in 46th, so he's moving through pretty well.
Did get a couple of drop rounds to these drives, but after a terrible Road America round, this is not what Fletcher needed. Usually Mr. Consistent, but after 4 weeks for him in a row. There goes Palmer past Bass, and I think Thompson will be past base soon as well.
Yeah, as the fire spits from the back of the McLaren. Trying to incinerate his competition, maybe he's Palmer, but not managing it on this occasion. Josh Thompson, looks like he's got the hot hand in this race. But can he get close to Palmer? This is the question. Palmer was very, very quick in race 1, arguably the quickest man out there for the first half of the race. He kept Oscar Mangan in check. Thompson absolutely flings it over the curb, Sam, and gains a 10th there. So Josh Thompson's really got this Audi underneath him nicely. It looks like a handful, but he seems to like it.
Yeah, definitely. Been driving the GT3s for a while, Thompson has dabbled in other cars, but I think he's always been quite fond of these machines. He's doing very well at the moment. They can catch up to Shield. However, of course, there are 3 SimSports USA cars in front of him, and I just wonder if they're going to be able to work together to stay ahead. He's a little bit too wide to block the circuit, maybe a little bit too early in the race for that, but if it comes down to the last lap, that is certainly a tactic they could employ. You almost feel bad for Shield because Palmer's bringing Thompson up to his own teammate at the moment. If Palmer was a little bit slower, I think Thompson would be catching up to the P3 man quite as quick, but so they're going to be onto him within the next couple of laps.
It's tough, isn't it? I wonder if they think that Palmer might be able to get closer to Oscar Mangan maybe than Andy Shield has so far. Shield sets his personal best. Not quite as strong as Mangan, but 6/10 quicker than his teammate Pete Harrod. So good work by Andy Shield as Thompson has a dive on Palmer. Makes it through clean as a whistle. Lovely move there by Thompson. And Shield is demoted, Palmer is demoted to 5th, and this is a great battle, 2 by 2. And in fact, there's someone else in there as well. So it's a 5-car scrap. This it's Danes. Oh, and Burke's got turned round a bit there. But it's grey, it's foggy, it's McFarlane, and it's John Roberts for the first time tonight. We see him on our screen.
Yeah, McFarlane had an awful race 2, I think, or at least we didn't see a whole lot of him as far as I recall after being very quick in race 1, came 2 by 2. It's when you want to be the 5th car, to be honest. It is fantastic watching this. You got the best view of everything going on, and
oh wow,
gains a place, and
oh
dear.
foggy.
Oh no. I don't think he was even within the reverse grid from race 2. Fell too far down the order with that incident he had at that same chicane as well. And that's dropped him off. These guys are going to do very well to catch back up by the end of this race. So now leading this train is Steve Burke, top of the amateur drivers, I believe, as well, is Burke. But here comes McFarlane, overspeed in that McLaren, and he's clear. Also going through is Gray, and there might be a couple of other drivers behind as well. Burke losing loads of places all of a sudden.
Burke is currently P1, but Craig Jones, who's in the Ferrari at the back of this group, has now taken the lead in the AM category. So there he goes, and yeah, it's a problem for Burke, not going well for him at all. Foggy has had a crash again, I believe.
Oh no.
As Mangan sets the fastest lap, 1:47.2. Tremendous lap. 4/10 quicker than Andy Shield, 2/10 quicker than Thompson, and these drivers are now hitting their stride in this race.
Rare that we see a multiple race winner in this series. Looks like that's going to occur today. Danes is trying to, also that's Fletcher trying to get past Order. Got Gregory just in front of them as well. I don't think we've seen too much of Ben Gregory. Was disappointing qualifying for him, but must have had a decent second race to get himself up into 19th on the grid, was actually unlucky not to be within the reverse grid, and then has promoted himself 6 places in this race as well.
It's a quick driver, is Ben Gregory. I mean, I've commentated on him for years and years right now, maybe 5 or 6 years, and it could even be more. He's a quick driver, Sam. He just still sometimes maybe doesn't seem to believe in his own ability.
Yeah, it could perhaps be the case. But no, certainly doing a good job today. Oh no, Hedgecock with a slowdown, it seems. Don't know where he would have picked that up at the second chicane.
Second Lesmo, maybe? Maybe he's cut across.
I don't think he can cut that one there. I think it's such a big curve. It would be very tricky to do so. Must have served it by now. Seems to lose him a lot of time.
Well, he said he was off the track for 2.35 seconds, so maybe he went in the gravel.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe he was just slow down the straight. Fletcher's having a look then. Billy Fletcher having a look on Mike Horder. Horder having a look on Gregory, but no movement there. Matt Bunn and John Roberts look like they've had some issues. Here is Fletcher. Who's going to be brave into the chicane?
Yeah, you imagine Fletcher's going to let this battle evolve in front of him.
Horder's late on the brakes.
Sides. And Evdoka will leave him space that these drivers are so experienced on this.
Yeah, it's Gregory, Sam. Sorry. It's Ben Gregory there. The 113. And we're going to get a replay. And this is involving Lewis Bibby, Sam. Oh, and he's been hit by Madsen. Turned around. So Bibby facing the wrong way. On his toed.
Wow.
Well, he's had enough of that one, it looks like. Lewis Bibby out of the race then. Oscar Mangan, though, off on his merry way. 3.8 seconds for the Irishman. And he's really got in the zone. And since he's taken the lead, well, he's it's really shown that he can stretch away, and he's doing so at the moment. 6/10 on the last lap, 7/10 on the previous lap. You can see that the gap, actually, the per lap average of time gained, Sam, looks like it's just climbing all the time for Mangan.
Yeah, shows that he's got good durability maybe in those tires. What surprises me is how he seems to extend that gap more and more as the race goes on, despite the fact that the gap is absolutely massive. You think he'd calm down a little bit, start to slow down his pace, but
I mean,
so comfortable out there to push that he can just keep on banging in these lap times.
I guess you say it's massive. You'd only need one trip into the gravel or one slowdown penalty, and suddenly he's down to maybe 1 second or less. So I think he just wants to keep the pedal to the metal. And also, he doesn't underestimate Josh Thompson, that's for sure. He knows that even though it's very unlikely that Josh Thompson will bridge the 7-second gap, and even Andy Shield, who's been quicker than Thompson on many laps so far, I feel like he's just not counting his chickens just yet. Thompson is a sandwich of made up by CQR SimSports Racing, sorry. Looking bread. I'll get that analogy out there, at some point.
I appreciate as well that you didn't say it's a SimSports sandwich as well.
No, because that'd be wrong.
Exactly, and that's what people always get wrong.
That would be wrong. I mean, you don't, it's not like if you have a ham sandwich, it's not a bread sandwich, is it?
Exactly. If anything, this sandwich has got like an extra layer of bread in it, doesn't it?
It's like a Big Mac without the extra.
From Friends.
Other fast food products are available, by the way, as well, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it's all right saying about certain fast food products aren't available at the moment because the places aren't open. So there you go. And this is this is all sorts of issues coming on surely between Billy Fletcher, Mike Horder. Oh, the McLaren! McFarlane very late on the brakes there, and he just slotted into that little gap. Ben Gregory just behind. Chris Daines, race 2 winner, as Horder almost forces McFarlane wide outside the white line, but Daines is going to get a terrific run. Oh, the 3 wide here now. Oh, and Fletcher just eases Horder towards the grass. And that is one way to get somebody out of the overtaking move, Sam, because if you get on the grass there, as Tonio Liuzzi proved that time, can be absolutely devastating.
It really can. And yeah, that was maybe pushing it a little bit too hard. I think there was a car's width there, but probably Horder doing the sensible thing. Unfortunately, sensibility puts you down into 16th place, and it might even be worse than that. So I feel bad for Mike Horder.
Once again, Oscar Mangan setting the fastest lap, Sam. So 47.1 with no slipstream. The others are doing 47.4s, 47.8s with slipstream. So tremendous performance, really is. I mean, Oscar used to be a teammate of mine at Apex Racing, and we knew he was very, very quick at the time. He was a pro driver. But you see a performance like this, and you think, well, he's certainly got still that talent, and he could be a champion in this series if he carries on in this regard.
Yeah, he was in 9th place going into the Red American round as
Billy Fletcher dropping down, Sam.
He is he off the circuit? I think he might still be on the circuit.
Oh, he's round.
Yeah, there he is. Good rejoin. We've seen some bad rejoins there in the past 12 months.
Oh, yeah.
Circuit for him.
Some of them in iRacing and some of them elsewhere. Ben Palmer sets the fastest lap, 47.1. But Thompson just got back past him again. Russ McFarlane now under pressure. Oh, and that's into the Rettifilio then. Thompson with a block pass. And that seemed very, very nice indeed. He's searching for a little bit of the bubbly in 3rd place. And he might well be drinking that bubbly come the end of this one. As he's dispatched Palmer, he's dispatched Shield. And he's dispatched so far 7 cars, Sam, on his way to 3rd place.
He's got one more Sim Sports car to get past, so he seems to be a master of getting past. And he's getting so much curb there as well. I don't usually see that necessarily in these GT3 cars, maybe in the TCR cars. Not in GT3.
Dennis Melchert's crashed. He's dropped down the order, so that's the 4 GT, several places down.
Plus up with the race that time for Ben Palmer. 47.11. So they do have pace. That was with a slipstream, admittedly, and yet he was still in 2 tenths faster than Mangan. But
it was also with battling against Thompson, I think.
Yeah. Needs to, and of course, yeah, he has now got past his teammate as well. 2 seconds for Thompson to catch up to Had. That's going to be tricky for him to accomplish because they've only got one more lap to go, lap 12 of this race. And Mangan is well on course. Abdulka and Madsen still close for 6th and 7th. They've been like that for a few laps now. McClare, I think, recently getting past Mark Woodhouse. They're still quite close. And then also Gregory Gray and Horder fighting it out just outside the top 10. Thompson's going to have to go defensive, it seems, against Palmer.
Wow.
To defend for 3rd place. Palmer has been so quick today. Got 2nd place in race 1. He wants another podium. Goes to the outside, but Thompson knows where to position that car. Still, Palmer
for the big cutback.
Maybe into the parabolica.
So he's go for a big cutback here. Is Ben Palmer, Sam, and he's got the run. He's less than 2 tenths behind. Maybe into Curva de la Rogia. Then can he do it? Thompson goes to the outside of Curva Grande. What's he going to do? He's on the dirty part of the track, is Thompson, and wisely switches to the racing line. He tries to get the big run over the curbs again. He's so quick over there, is Thompson. Does he have a dive into Lesmo 1? No, he does not. Palmer steadfast in his approach. But yeah, you're right. Parabolica could be the one. The last lap is the place to is the time to have a go into the Parabolica, because your opponent so many times we've seen cannot recover. We've also seen some almighty crashes on the way to the line in the past. And Sam, Oscar Mangan, well, he's coming through Ascari for the last time.
Abdulka, by the way, has dropped from 6th down to 13th. It's at the 2nd chicane, so shame for him. As Thompson's within 1/10 of a second, so it's going to be close between those guys for 3rd, but out in lead, there is no doubt.
Oscar Mangan then. Car 99, the Irishman, coming through the final corner, and he's going to take his 2nd win of the night tonight here at Monza in the World GT Championship. He crosses the line, he flashes the lights, he's ecstatic with that one. Pete Harris in 2nd place, and that's Josh Thompson in the gravel. So what has happened to Josh Thompson? In the gravel at the final corner, he's going to lose 5th place to Nick Madsen. And we'll see what's gone on, I'm sure, on the replay in a second. But it's Harrod in 2nd, Palmer 3rd, Shield in 4th. And it's Madsen in 5th ahead of Thompson. And more points lost for Josh there. And I wonder what happened. Here we go, Sam, into the Parabolica.
Yeah, trying to squeeze on the inside. Quite tricky stuff on that angle, but my guess is that they were both just trying to go. Thompson maybe squeezed a little bit too much, maybe left a car's width and a quarter there, and maybe just his rival understeering into him. So Palmer gets another podium, and Thompson, a day of what could have been. You think race 1 had to start from the back because of penalty, and then both race 2 and race 3 getting spun off at that same Parabolica corner. So frustrating day for him. Still a decent points haul, much better than a few other of those top drivers.
Well, it's bubbly for Palmer then instead in 3rd. Oscar Mangan, well, he could well be Le Champion at the end of the season. We'll see if that is indeed the case come the end of these 28 races. That was race 17 in the books. And we'll see the results on the screen in just a moment or so.
So
McLaren 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be leading the championship after this round. So going into this round, Fletcher
maybe
leading. That's not going to happen anymore. McClay had an all right round. Harrod will definitely be ahead of McClay now. Mangan might be ahead of the pair of them, so I imagine it's going to probably be Harrod, Mangan, and McClay. Top doing the championship, but Fletcher's going to be right there as well. So
Palmer maybe. Palmer might be 3rd. It'll be. McClay's had a good meeting though. He's been consistent. Yeah. So I mean that's his best result of the night, isn't it? 8th. So he might not relinquish that 2nd place, or even he might be leading the way. Who knows? But Oscar Mangan takes the win then. 5.6 seconds, dominant victory ahead of Pete Harrod, Ben Palmer in 3rd. Andy Shield 4th and Nick Madsen scraping 5th for Ferrari on the final lap. Josh Thompson in 6th in the end. He'll be disappointed with that. Ethan Bass 7th. George McClay 8th. Like I say, he's well up in the championship, going great guns there. Mark Woodhouse, a much better meeting for him today in 9th. Adam Hedgecock in 10th and 11th for Ross McFarlane. Chris Daines 12th and Michael Evdoka 13th. Mike Gray 14th and Ben Gregory 15th. Mike Horder in 16th. And Michael Blake winning the AM category in 17th. Just to mention, Ethan Bass was the Pro-Am winner there. Ash Beard in 18th for Year 1 Racing. 19th for Craig Jones, ahead of Stephen McCaffrey. Mark Fletcher, 21st. Good result for Fletcher. From the back of the grid, at least some points on the board for the man who was leading the series coming into this round. Dan McCauley in 22nd. Chris Coughlin in 23rd. Matt Draycott in 24th, Matt Bunn 25th, and then Chaz Draycott in 26th, Kevin Bolland in 27th, and Simon Underhill was 28th. 29th for Simon Field, with Tom Jacobs in 30th, Harry Wills 31st, Lars Van Rijn 32nd, Dean Timms in 33rd, and Pete Newman 34th. Now, Crowther was in 35th place with Carl Hardy in 36th, 37th for Dennis Melchert, 38th for Billy Fletcher, who, in fact, those last 3 had retired, and then John Roberts, Carl Jacquelet, Lewis Bibby, Stephen Burke, Nicole Foggy, we saw him crashing out, Nathan Dixon, Carl Moore, and Richard Warmingham. We saw Moore going into the gravel at the first corner. Didn't quite see what happened to Warmingham, Sam, but that was a great meeting, some really good racing, and like I say, pretty damn clean as well, I would say, for these 3 rounds.
Yeah, like I said at the start of this race, first 2 races very clean at the start. Race 3 was pretty good as well. So good driving from everyone, and yeah, cannot wait for the next round of the championship at Daytona. Going to be similar stuff, I imagine. Yeah,
and we bring in the man who's been in the thick of the action all night long. Adam Hedgecock joins in the commentary box, and Adam, welcome back to the booth, mate. That last race still managed to get into the top 10. Really good, strong qualifying. You must be pleased with your efforts tonight. Well, he would be if we could hear him. Well, we'll see if we can grab Ethan Bass in the meantime. Then, Ethan, can you hear me, mate? Doesn't look like it. Sam, can you still hear me?
What's going on here? I don't know what's going on.
Ah, so there we go. I can't hear any of the two lads who we've dragged into the commentary box. So just going to see if we can sort that out.
We do like the sound of our own voices, so it could just be.
We do.
That. We do have another guinea pig though, who we could try to chat with.
Let's see if we can try with Matt Bunn. Matt, can you hear us, mate? We're struggling to hear other people.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Ah, yes, we can. Perfect. Well,
I see you are having trouble, so I thought I'd jump in and just see. And I haven't spoke to you guys in a while.
Yeah, welcome, mate. Good to have you with us. It looked like you were in the thick of it tonight, and that is always a very hectic race, isn't it? And one that's very enjoyable for all.
Yeah, definitely. Normally it produces well. For me, where I was on track, I thought the racing was brilliant. People were really given space and being respectful, and yeah, really good. I think a couple of incidents I was involved in just unlucky. I think it was race 2. I just got a little tiny bit on the grass, under braking, and yeah, lived up to my name, Matt Spun. And then yeah, race 3, it was just netcode into the first corner. I got bumped up the rear, and the jolt forward just put me into the car in front, but it didn't actually. It was just, yeah, like I say, netcode. So unlucky really tonight, but I still scored some good points. That's the main thing, I guess.
Did you find that the BMW was still competitive here? We saw a few people bailing out of it. Do you think they're lacking some bravery on that front, Matt, or do you think it's a good decision?
I think a lot of people have moved away from the BMW. I don't know why really. It felt different, but you know, like any change, you just got to get used to the change and adapt to it. I think the BMW is a really good car. It's strong on some tracks. Obviously, around here, it's lacking a little bit of power on the straights, but in the corners, it's got really good brakes and good turn ability. So I'm really gelled nicely. You probably noticed. I'm not spinning quite as much, and I've gelled really well with the BMW. Obviously, I'm quite competitive in the Pro-Am Champ this season. But yeah, I'm liking the BMW.
Do you think that you can take the fight forward then for the Pro-Am category this season?
I think so. I think if I stay consistent and just think about the championship, keep scoring the points, keep finishing, I think I'm in with a good chance. I've gone back to triple monitors. I think that's one of the main things for me.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I didn't have the space and had to go to singles, and now I'm back to triples. So it's made a massive difference.
Well, we go to Daytona next week, and it's a circuit which traditionally doesn't suit the BMW that well, but do you think you're going to be able to get something out of it?
I think I'll be lacking again in the straight line, but hopefully I can get a setup that'll work a little bit for me. But I'm just looking at being consistent, scoring them points. Hopefully be lucky with a reverse grid. I'm looking forward actually to seeing one of the dashers on the wheel come up, finish and position. I think that'll spice things up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think you're definitely right. But yeah, thanks for joining us, Matt. And if you want to say a big thank you to your sponsors or your team, whoever.
Yeah, just the team and Pure Sims for sponsoring the series. All the team guys in the team and you guys.
Perfect, and we'll give you the money later. Thank you very much.
Good to talk to you guys.
Nice one, mate.
Take care.
Matt Bunn, then Sam, and I wonder if we could maybe try testing for pretty much that entire interview. Occasionally, just going into these other rooms to see if they can hear us. Adam, can you hear us? You see, that's been the response I've been getting. So either Adam really dislikes us, or he can't.
What, more than normal?
More than normal, believe it.
Oh.
So no, and I've tried Ethan as well, unfortunately. So I'm made for playing up.
Well,
the bit.
Something's going wrong with Discord, which is no massive surprise at times. But yeah, I think then in that case, if we can't hear the people who are coming into the interview channel, I think that's probably time to end. So, but yeah, Sam, another great meeting at Monza, and we look forward to Daytona next week. It should be fun.
Yeah, it's proper slipstream circuit once again. Round that place should be another good track for the McLaren. I think this championship is evolving awesomely. I mean, once we've got a little bit of momentum for Oscar Mangan. Currently, that can so easily be stopped. A couple of contacts with drivers, you don't score many points in a round, and it can be very disastrous for you very quickly. So we'll see if he can keep it up, because he can be pretty close to the pointy end of the championship, and perhaps the favourite to win the title after today's impressive show.
Well, we always see some incidents at Daytona, so it's going to be a fun one. Thank you everybody for watching tonight here on the iRacing Esports Network, and from Andrew Woodhouse and Sam Fitzpatrick, and Sam Kumo's done a fantastic job again on the cameras. It's good night from us in the World GTs, and it's good night from Monza. Ciao.